But you played quarterback at the University of Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
You and I actually were talking well earlier this morning about Bryce Young. Because some of the things that I'm seeing, because you have a different perspective from being a quarterback, some of the things I'm seeing may not be the same things that you are seeing, but I think you and I are on the same page of this guy really does go through his progressions and just has the poise of a guy that's normally like 3, 4, 5 years into the NFL. Heck, there are times where I wonder if Josh Allen is actually seeing through his progressions, and we know how talented that guy is, but it seems like Bryce Young really does sit back there and it really does read a defense quite well and knows exactly where he needs to go from one step to the next.
It's exactly what everybody said and what all the analysts said, and it turns out if you watch every bit of film and everything this guy has done since he was like 12 years old is somewhere on YouTube.
Yeah.
It sounds like they hit it pretty well, right? Mm-hmm. He was the most polished. He has this savant-like ability to process what the defense is doing and get through his progressions. We also knew that he was a little undersized, and it's just all showing up through the first. I mean, it's really a couple series, right? Through the first 2 preseason games, it's really shown up, and now it's about solving all the things around him to allow that savant or genius, whatever you want to call it, to shine through.
There are a couple plays that impressed me a lot from this Friday. The time where he actually, I don't know if his feet got tripped up or something like that, but he fell to the ground, got up, knowing like, oh, wait, in the NFL, I'm not down. This play continues, but gets up, scrambles, but immediately has his eyes downfield. Mm-hmm. A lot of people in that situation were just like, I just got to find a place to run just to get yards, and if I can get 2 yards or back to the line of scrimmage, then fine, we'll call it even. But he gets up, scrambles, immediately has eyes downfield and starts directing traffic. That stood out to me a lot. I'll get to the second play here in just a moment.
That play, I just want to jump in, and I even love the throw that he makes. Right, so he falls over, which immediately puts you on fluster mode. Right, you're immediately scatterbrained. Oh no, what's going on? Right, like after an earthquake or something like that. Mm-hmm. You just want to check everything. A lot of guys do. You brought up Josh Allen. One of the things I say about Josh Allen is he gets crazy eyes.
Yes.
Like big games, a few times we've seen him pitch it to nobody. We've seen him get skittish. And I say he gets crazy eyes. It's it would be very, very understandable if after you fall down, if you got crazy eyes.
Yeah.
But instead,
especially as a rookie,
he was unbelievably calm. And the ball he threw to Adam Thielen down the right sideline was one of those where it probably wasn't going to be caught. Right, because it was kind of deep outside, deep ball, obviously. But I could guarantee a defensive player wasn't going to catch it, and Adam Thielen might have made a great play.
Yeah.
So it's after things go crazy, he was like, let's not compound errors, right? So something happened up front, whatever scared me, I trip, I stand up. Let's not turn those 2 mistakes into a bigger mistake. Let's give Adam a chance to make a play. But if not, it's an incompletion. We live to play another day, right? You end in a punt, you end in a field goal, whatever it is, that's better than turnover. So I loved his composure on that play, just like what you said.
Tim Donnelly from The Drive on 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. The second play that really stood out to me, Tim. 3rd and 1 ended up being a 3rd and 6 on that long field goal drive, the 15-play drive. 3rd and 1 because Hayden Hurst jumped off sides of the false start, I should say. Goes from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6. And speaking of Adam Thielen, from the slot, runs an out route. Bryce Young put it in the exact spot where Adam Thielen could catch and turn upfield. So this is where we talk about accuracy versus just like a completion. Mm-hmm. So sometimes a quarterback may have put that a little bit on the back shoulder where, in this case, Thielen would have had to have turned around. The defensive back that's right there could potentially break it up or is able to make a tackle because Thielen has to break stride. He didn't have to break stride. It was perfectly in front of him where he can catch, full speed, continue going, turn up field, stretch, gets the first down. To me, there's a difference between completing a pass and throwing an accurate ball. On an out route to the opposite side of the field, having that level of not just the accuracy, but the arm strength to do it. That stood out to me. And it's just a 7-yard completion. But not everyone can make that throw. It's a lot harder than people think.
That throw and what you just described, right? How Thielen got exactly what he should get off a throw like that, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason not to. It's actually one of the concerns I have is we still have yet to see someone make a play for Bryce Young. We've seen Bryce Young do it, but for Bryce Young, see someone make a play beyond what it should have been. The closest thing would be Mingo, where he caught it and then bounced off a hit, actually retreated on the other side of the first down marker and got 4 or 5 more yards.
Yeah.
But I was actually terrified when he went back beyond the first down marker. I'm like, north, south. It worked out. But, like, it seems like everything that they've gotten on really any of Bryce Young's attempts have been because Bryce Young almost gave them, like, Adam Thielen had no choice but to catch that ball because it was perfectly placed.
Yeah.
No choice but to get those 2-3 yards on the way out because it led him that way. Like, you know, Hayden Hurst had one where he made a great catch on the sideline, but it got called back for the holding.
That was a great throw and catch.
It absolutely was. I'm waiting for somebody to make a play so Bryce Young doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, his first attempt this game, it was to Mingo. Mingo kind of throws the brakes on. It could have been a 30 or 40, you know, depending on what he does after the run after the catch.
Yeah, I don't like, why'd you stop running?
But, you know, it's all hard won by him, right? Like, if Thielen's going to get that first down, it's going to be because he puts it on him in a way that Thielen had to get that first down. And that's not a great way for a rookie quarterback to live. You almost want to help. You want, you know, him to be able to throw it behind Thielen, and Thielen gets the first down. Or, you know, gets a little happy feet and someone makes a play for him, whatever it is. And we have yet to see that. So I'm hoping, and again, it's only a couple series. It's still the preseason. The hope is that eventually he's going to get some help because he really hasn't gotten much other than the exact amount that they should be getting with how well he's playing.
Does it concern you that there might not be enough talent on the outside? Because we haven't really seen them unlock like any deep ball. I'm sorry, I still want to see DJ Chark on a deep post, please. Like I wanted to see that. I really wanted to see that in this game. Like I really wanted to see, hey, play action, let Bryce unleash the ball a little bit. I understand that they're saving things. We'll get into that in a little bit. I understand they want to save stuff for the regular season, but are they actually? Do you think do they have enough?
The short answer. Well, I'll answer both of those questions. Am I concerned? Heck yes.
Yeah.
Right. Like that. That's the easy answer to that one. Do they have enough? Is interesting because they do have talent, right? And you know, I've had a couple conversations where you have to remember Adam Thielen's been a proven guy. You have to remember DJ Chark has a 1,000-yard season. You have to remember Jonathan Mingo is a second-round pick. It's figuring out the best way to use them, and it's, you know, having those guys play above their talent level occasionally, right? Adam Thielen is probably not the deep ball threat that he once was.
No.
And that's not to say that he can't come down with a kind of like we talked about with the play he fell down, like a scramble drill, go deep, come up with a big play. I'm not sure if they have, or I'm very sure they don't have that number one that you're just going to throw it up to. And, you know, safety blankets, number ones you can throw it up to even when they're covered. That's good for a rookie quarterback. So he might not have that this year. So, you know, beat him with your mind rather than just being more physically gifted on the outside.
Tim Donnelly of The Drive on 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. The Drive, if you're in the Raleigh area, you can listen to The Drive from 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan. All right, Tim, you and I were talking about this earlier before the show. Is there a point where Bryce Young starts getting happy feet or starts to not trust what's in front of him? Because he's gotten hit a lot. He's saying all the right things. He's still staying in the pocket poised. But eventually you got to get tired of that, like constantly getting hit. I mean, it's 2nd and 9. You're at the 10-yard line. All of a sudden you're just getting drilled in the back. It's like, wait a second. Now I'm at 3rd down. Like that stuff gets old after a while.
Yes, but I think what's going to happen first is because of it, what we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, which is Bryce Young's so gifted in his football IQ. Right? Yeah. Everybody has a different way. Football IQ is his
mental aptitude.
Yeah, whatever the phrase is, mental aptitude, mind talent, like arm talent. I think he'll try to take more onto his own plate.
Okay.
A lot of the ways that the guys up front are getting beat, it's not always. It has been occasionally, but it's not always. You know, mano y mano, this blocker got beat by this guy he was supposed to be blocking. We did see that with Dexter Lawrence up front a few times.
Bradley Bozeman got pushed back a lot.
But it's a lot of miscommunications. It's a lot of missed assignments. And Bryce Young is a guy that, you know, for all of the reports, he knows what he's doing. Right? and I kind of look at it. You mentioned I played at the University of Delaware. When I first kind of got on the field in real meaningful minutes, I had a whole bunch of offensive linemen that had played 3-4 years, and I was like, cool, I don't have to worry about anything they're doing, right? I'm just going to sit back here and deal with my reads on the back end. Then towards the end of my career, I had a whole bunch of younger, more inexperienced offensive linemen, and it got to the point where coach was coming to me and saying, hey, do you think you could make some checks for the offensive line? And I was like, absolutely, right? Like I'm to the point in my career where I can do that. So then I'd go up and through codes let everybody know who the mic is, right? All everybody's heard it, and a few other things, just to kind of take it off their plate since they're a little bit more inexperienced. It's ironic that Bryce Young is going to be probably, unless Chandler Zavala works his way into a permanent starting role, the least experienced one out there.
Yeah,
but. It's professional sports. It's not college, right? Seniority doesn't matter as much. It's if you're the one that understands everything, I don't care if you have to go up and tap every lineman on the back and let them know what they're going to do. If that's what they need to avoid the missed assignments, that's what they're going to do. So I think he'll actually, before he gets happy feet, he'll almost get like happy game plan and just take over more and more of it until the Ikekwanus of the world prove that they're not going to have a missed assignment, right? Double check on all that kind of stuff.
So you're talking about the missed assignments. We've heard Frank Reich say multiple times, well, we're running base stuff, we're running vanilla stuff.
Which is worse.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing I mentioned earlier as well, is that, well, if this is your base stuff and you don't even have your base stuff down yet, you can't communicate through your basic concepts. I'm sorry, you can't get to the phase 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of your offensive game plan that you want to progress to during the course of the season, because you've been doing this install since April and May. It's August now.
To hear them since the game has gotten over, right, in media availabilities, Frank Reich mentioning that the time when Kayvon Thibodeau, the edge rusher, was unblocked was because of a misheard, like not audible, but communication up front.
Yeah,
If it's day one install or week one install stuff, the basic stuff that he keeps saying, vanilla is the term they're using, then the calls and the passing, the communications up front are really just confirmation, right? You all look at the defense, you all know exactly what you're going to be doing, and then you go to use the remember the Titans, right? Omaha.
Oh yeah,
and then everybody's now like, okay, cool, yeah, you saw what I see. But if there's ever if you're thinking, all right, this is going to be in Omaha, and they're yelling out Memphis, you don't just go, all right, I'm coming down and leaving this edge rusher unblocked.
Yeah.
You go, are we sure about that, right? Because then if you mishear something, it's you can repeat back. There's ways to confirm. So I think that's the biggest concern to me is if you're keeping everything vanilla and you're still having missed assignments, you're still having miscommunications, do we have to go back and reinstall the vanilla stuff?
Yeah.
And then, to build off that metaphor, when we get to Rocky Road with extra sprinkles, we're all going to be recklessly lost if we can't handle vanilla. So that's where Bryce Young is going to have to just double check with everybody.
Do you think it would benefit? I know you had mentioned this last week that, hey, you know what, you can alleviate some of that pressure by going 5 wide.
Yes.
And we saw that Jonathan Mingo completion that he had, there was 5 wide, and then I know, because it was, how the Giants defense ran, they only rushed 3. Now, granted, there's still pressure, amazingly enough, with 3 guys rushing. But it was man-to-man, and they dropped their ends to kind of take away those quick slants, but he stood there in the pocket. Do you think that's a way to alleviate pressure by spreading things out more, or is it design rollouts or a combination of the two?
It's one of my great pet theories, and I've explained this on my show, but Joe Burrow, between his junior and senior year in college, he went from, after his junior year, he did the whole NFL, how good am I thing. They said 7th rounder undrafted. Then his senior year was the greatest quarterback season in college football history.
It was amazing.
And he finishes Heisman, first overall draft pick. The difference was, or one of the big differences in their game plan, and it was, Joe Brady doing a lot of it, so don't hold what happened in Carolina against him.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Was they went 5 wide a lot more, and they put 5 guys in the route a lot more.
Yeah,
not always spread out 5, and what that did is it allowed Joe Burrow's superpower of, like, I see things, I dissect them quickly, and I process quickly, and I get the ball out, to almost be the blitz beater or be the pressure beater, and Bryce has some of that. Right, he has some of that. I'm super quick. I don't need all of the time in the world to dissect a defense. So give me 5 options, and I'll find the right one. If you have 3 out there, they might be covered, right? You might have, if you have 3 guys in a route, you might have to wait for one of them to get open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure Bryce Young's going to have that time. If you
I don't know if they have the talent for 3 guys to get open.
If you put 5 guys out there into a route, he might not need as much time because one of them is likely going to be open. And if you think he can get to all 5 in a progression and get it out fast, that might be the way to do it. It's kind of reverse thinking, right? Because you think if pressure's coming, keep more guys into block. But when you have a guy like Bryce who seems to be quick enough to handle it, it might be they're getting pressure, send him more guys in a route, and he'll have a better chance of one popping open early, and he'll find him because he's that quick. I want to see them do that a lot more, right? And sometimes you see it with guys like him where, all half they'll be stagnant, and then they'll go 2-minute drill right before half, and bing, 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 touchdown. And it's like, what was the difference? Well, because it was 2-minute and you knew you had to throw the ball, you knew you put more guys in the route. It was more of a pass-oriented deal. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that more and more and more as the season goes along.
And I like how they did it on that catch with Mingo.
Mm-hmm.
He read the hot route, and actually that wasn't on a 5-wide set, but still, he was able to see the blitz coming, read the hot route. Mingo also read it too. Quick RPO option, boom, hits Mingo, he bounces off it. So yeah, at the line of scrimmage, he can make those decisions.
The RPO, that's not an RPO because he knows exactly what he's doing.
Exactly what
he's faking the handoff with his hands on the laces, getting ready to That's exactly what it was.
But it showed that image, I guess you could say. But also the way they went 5-wide by using the same personnel group with 3 receivers, a tight end, and a running back. Because you and I talked about this. If the defense can't change their personnel, it's like, well, wait a second. Now, wait, it's 5-wide.
Positional versatility.
Exactly. Versatility. I think this is where they're missing Miles Sanders right now, is because I think Miles Sanders is going to give them a lot more than what Chuba Hubbard can give them.
Blackshear has a little bit of it.
Blackshear does as well, but when Blackshear's out there, he's not really a threat to run the football, in my opinion.
Very true. And he's a little bit smaller for pass protection, those sorts of things. If Miles Sanders can get on the field, which I don't think we'll see him in the preseason, I think that'll change a lot. Just veteran presence in the backfield.
Yeah.
There's a lot more you can do with Miles Sanders than you can do with some of these other guys. We were talking off air. Chuba Hubbard had a valiant effort in pass protection quite a bit. Got run over quite a bit, which sometimes is enough, right? Just be a speed bump and that'll slow him down.
Yeah.
He was sticking his nose, into the guy's chest. It's just a lot of times the chest didn't slow down much. Miles Sanders, just by way of experience and by way of, what he was asked to do in Philly, he should be better at that sort of thing.
All right, final thing for you. Tim Donnelly of The Drive on 99.9 The Fan, which you can listen to if you're in the Raleigh area from 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan. Final question for you. The offensive line obviously has been a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
At what point does it really, truly become a concern long-term for Bryce? And I know that, okay, after this season, you can invest a whole lot of money, like mercenaries for hire to protect Bryce Young. But I don't want to see him go the route of David Carr's career when he had with the Texans, where he just got beat up. Or like with Andrew Luck, because Andrew Luck got beat up a ton as well, because Andrew Luck wasn't afraid to take the hits, but he ended up taking too many.
Two different, you brought up 2 great examples, but 2 different ones of the same beast, right? David Carr got hit so much that mentally he was fried. And, he kept seeing the blitz, and he was getting happy feet, and he wasn't hanging in there.
Seeing ghosts like Sam Darnold.
Exactly. Of the worst variety.
Yes.
And then Andrew Luck got beat up so much that physically. So it's like you can get beat up in both directions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried anytime soon. We're talking probably this full season and into next season as far as getting him mentally looking at the blitz. But when you're 5'10", 190 pounds, which, I know he's 204 at the combine, but
he's not 204.
Yeah. When you're 5'10", 190 pounds, I'd be more worried about the Andrew Luck of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So when he starts popping up on the injury report is when I would become very, very, very concerned. Until then, he's a young guy. I think he'll, the bruises and everything will heal quickly. The little, bumps, bruises, cuts, nicks, whatever you want to call them. But probably about halfway through next year, if you don't have, granted, it's a sliding scale. If he's getting hit 10 times a game, it'll come much quicker.
Exactly.
If he's getting hit, 4 or 5 times a game, I think you have a little bit more time, just because he seems to be a tough guy. He seems to understand what's going on. He seems to be, he threw a couple away in the preseason in game 2 more than in game 1, which means I think he understands, like, hey, I can't take all these hits just to prove I'm a tough guy. So I'm not super worried about the mental side of getting David Card. I would be worried about getting Andrew Luck if too much of the physical things start to pop up.
I got one more question. Bonus question for you. Can the O-line turn it around? Like, is it stuff that they can control?
Yes.
Or are they just not good?
Well, Corbett helps a lot.
When he does come back. I'm not sure what that timetable is for his return.
I did see him doing non-contact, no pads drills, but he was catching a tennis ball and that sort of thing while in a kind of a deep stance. Corbett helps. Also, again, it's outside of Dexter Lawrence and the inside, which Dexter Lawrence is going to make a lot of people look bad this year.
True.
Outside of that, they're not getting beat physically a ton. They're getting beat because they're messing up what they're supposed to be doing. So that can be fixed the moment it all clicks. It could also last for years and years and years and years. So it can be fixed. And I want those missed assignments to be gone. And I assume that for all of the patience and everything the coaches are showing publicly, oh, we were very vanilla. Oh, it's just this. Oh, it was a miscommunication. Behind the scenes, MAs, missed assignments get coaches more mad than anything. So I assume there's some heck to pay inside those locker rooms and film sessions. So they can fix it. They can. Will they is a whole other question.
I mean, you've already had the positional coach meeting and then stuff after one preseason game, so there's definitely some level of concern.
The offensive line is, will say this, halfway to like the movie Miracle, where they're doing the again whistle again after a game, right after an exhibition. Hey, they should have been out there running gassers.